What's up, everybody? My name is Grim. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Chinese Grand Prix, reviewing it, going through what the heck happened over the weekend. Let's get into the video.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel now. What a performance from Max Verstappen this whole weekend. And all I'm going to say is freaking scary what Max has done throughout the whole weekend. Like, honestly, this kid is absolutely next level. At the moment, I know he's only won 3 championships, but he is my top 5 greatest world champions of all bloody time. He is so freaking good, this kid. It's an absolute crazy joke. We did have a really awesome sprint qualifying. It was an absolutely awesome Friday. I spoke about it in another video. Then we had the sprint race. Let's go through the sprint race before I get into the main race and talk about what the heck went on. So obviously Lando Norris was on pole, started in first, second Lewis Hamilton, third Fernando Alonso, with the world champion Max Verstappen in P4, Carlos Sainz beating Charles Leclerc. It didn't end like that at all. It took Max a handful of laps to jump up into P1, and by the end of the sprint, Max Verstappen won by 13 seconds. Like, do you understand? By 13 seconds, Max won by, and then after I saw that, I go, the race is done. It's over. Like, bro, this guy, no matter where this kid starts, he's going to win. So all I know is I hope next year they get rid of Sergio Perez and put someone else in that car so we can have a competitive championship. I love Max. I want him to freaking win 5 championships. But for the sake of Formula One, I feel like that we need another teammate for Max that can try and compete. Someone new, someone fresh. Maybe a Carlos Sainz. Anyway, 13 seconds, he beat Lewis Hamilton, who was P2. Hamilton back, I guess, on the sprint podium. Sergio Perez, P3. Good recovery from Checo. Leclerc, P4. P5, Carlos Sainz. Lando Norris, P6. Oscar Piastri, P7. And 8th, George Russell. That was your top 8 who got points. Zhou just missed out in P9. But Lando Norris, off the start, absolutely stuffed up. And it wasn't really great from Lando Norris. He apologized to the team after the Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso, after starting in the top 3, dropped all the way at the back and retired the car. So it wasn't good from Fernando. He did have contact with Carlos Sainz. Charles somehow jumped in front of Carlos Sainz, which I guess was a decent effort from Charles. He really had a thing to prove against Carlos. Obviously, Carlos went off during qualifying, going into the race, and ended up, still doing pretty decent in qualifying. But all in all, I think in the Ferrari Inter-Team battle this weekend, I think Charles was ahead of Carlos for the first time this season. Now, of course, Max Verstappen won the Chinese Grand Prix. He won by a staggering 13 seconds once again. There was a couple of safety cars, but, from Lando Norris to, I guess, be only 13 seconds, I guess is a positive. But honestly, Max was so far ahead of everybody else. He was in the front, led. A 10 out of 10 performance from Max Verstappen. No one's going to stop him. 4-time world champion. Maybe give him a 5th championship next season already, because he's absolutely killing it. So nothing more to say about Max. A real perfect weekend for him. Lando Norris was P2, actually holding Sergio Perez back. And that's a really good effort from Lando to hold Sergio Perez. There was nothing Lando could do. He had no answers for Max Verstappen. He did come out and say, it feels like a win if you don't count Max. Listen, at the end of the day, Lando, you haven't won a race yet. You choked during the sprint. It is what it is. It happens. But, that's not a win. Max is just freaking next level at the moment. So I don't know if Lando, I don't know if anyone can keep up with Max Verstappen in the same machinery as him at this point in time. He's driving on another level. Sergio Perez, P3, not a bad performance from Sergio to actually finish in P3. He's actually not doing too bad of a job, Sergio. Potentially could keep his seat for next year. Like I said, I hope not. We'll see what happens. So Charles Leclerc, P4. Carlos Sainz, P5. Leclerc actually beating Sainz once again. P6, George Russell. P7, Fernando Alonso, who dropped down. It actually wasn't a bad effort from Fernando to get points, and also George Russell putting it in P6 wasn't bad at all. Oscar Piastri, P8, who had floor damage and actually drove a pretty decent race considering the damage he had. But all weekend, I guess Lando's been on top of Piastri, unfortunately for him. But I know he did have damage, like I said, which was a great performance to stay in the points. But Lando has been steps ahead of Oscar Piastri. My little prediction of Oscar actually beating Lando this season. Doesn't look like it's going to come true. I don't know. I know it's only 5 races in, but that little inter-team battle, I thought Piastri would, outclass Lando. Not happening at this point in time. 9th, Lewis Hamilton, who came from the back of the grid. Really mega drive from Lewis to actually get points. And 10th, Nico Hülkenberg, who slides into the points every single time. And I think he's going to go to Stake F1 team next year. I think that Haas are going to keep Kevin Magnussen with Ollie Behrman as their lineup. I think Hülkenberg's going to move to Stake, which sort of sucks because they sort of need Zhou. Zhou had a really decent home Grand Prix. I feel like Sauber had more pace in the car, but just honestly couldn't execute points. P11, Esteban Ocon. Now, Ocon's one of those drivers that doesn't get the credit he deserves. A real mega drive from Ocon to just fall out of the points. Albon 12th, just struggling again. Gasly 13th. So Alpine somehow had pace. I don't know how Alpine's beat the Stake F1 team. Like, honestly, that was a bit of a joke. But yeah, that was sort of crazy. And then, of course, Lance Stroll down in P15. We know what happened with Stroll and Daniel Ricciardo, which I'll talk about very soon. Magnussen, P16, he was not happy. And I feel like Magnussen just needs to improve, man. Come on, Kevin, we can push. Try and get those points. I guess at the moment, Hülkenberg's outperforming Magnussen. And it sucks for me to say, but it's just happening. Sargent, P17, who was last. Antonelli's going to go to Williams. Simple as that. Daniel Ricciardo, DNF. Yuki Tsunoda, DNF. And, of course, Valtteri Bottas, DNF. Sucks for Stake to have Bottas DNF. With Bottas pulling over, I don't know why the FIA didn't call safety car straight away. The kid was out of his car. It's freaking dangerous. FIA is too slow to react. They had to react earlier. Like, it's a freaking joke. But anyway, Yuki and Daniel had a really, poor race, I guess, not finishing. Daniel Ricciardo sort of innocent bystander. Lance Stroll did run at the back of Daniel Ricciardo, as we all know, and Stroll's getting so much freaking hate. Go on any page, getting so much freaking hate. But I'm going to back up Lance Stroll like I always do because everyone knows I'm a massive Stroll fan. But I'll give you guys the reason why it sort of was, I say 50-50. It was like in the sense of incident-wise because, hear me out before you guys go crazy. Look at the footage. Now, Fernando Alonso locked up, which caused a Cosentino effect, right? And everyone was locking up behind him and sort of closed the gap between all the drivers. And if you actually look at the footage, before Lance hit Daniel Ricciardo, he slammed on the brakes, actually tapped Oscar Piastri, who was in front of him. Now, Ricciardo's hit Piastri before Lance has hit him, and then Lance has come across, whacked Ricciardo even harder, so wasn't really paying attention. Yes, I do agree. And because he didn't expect Ricciardo to pop up so quick, whacked him harder. And then obviously there was an effect where Ricciardo hit Piastri, which caused Piastri's floor damage. And then, Stroll causing Ricciardo to DNF. And obviously after the Grand Prix, Ricciardo was not happy because I think the media sort of spun it a bit with what Stroll said. I think Stroll just it was a racing incident. And Ricciardo's like, I've got the effing chits with him. And he was not happy, right? So, I don't know. In my head, if Ricciardo's been brake tested, because obviously Alonso had the lockup, he was aware enough to hit the brake, but he did tap Piastri at the back of him. He did hit him. Look at the footage. He hit him before Stroll hit him. And then Stroll was looking at the apex of the corner, then must have looked back and didn't really expect Ricciardo to be there because he's probably thinking, they're all braking this sort of section. So, listen, I think it's a 50-50. I think half of it is Lance's fault. The other half is sort of just a racing incident, or maybe 60-40 more Lance's fault. But, yeah, I don't think it's all completely Lance's fault like everybody's saying, So, yeah, I got my boy Stroll's back. People are saying, some guy was like, oh, he should retire. Like, bro, you don't know shit, okay? He's been unlucky some of the races. Jeddah, he stuffed up. Okay, fair enough. Some of the races have been unlucky. His qualifying performance needs to improve, yes. But I feel like Lance needs I don't know if it's motivation. I don't know what it is. But I feel like if he, like I always say, when Lance is on his day, he can beat Fernando Alonso on his good days. He's having more bad days than good at the moment, but I think Lance can bounce back. I do think that. And we'll see what happens going into the next round in Miami. But hopefully Lance can come back and obviously compete and shut all the haters up because I'm Team Lance, of course. I've had his back since day one. People don't like me for it, but it is what it is. So all in all, it was a pretty, average Grand Prix. The only part that was all right was when Bottas, the safety cars actually. And we didn't really know. But also Ricciardo, he was actually he was on the yellow stint tyre. He's pitted twice. He was on the same tyre twice, so Ricciardo had to box again. That sort of sucked as well. So even though Stroll hit him, Ricciardo was definitely going to fall out of the points. Ricciardo had no chance of getting points, I'm telling you. He already done 2 stops, had to box one more time to change a set of tyres where he could actually be in the rules and, use 2 different compounds. So, yeah, I don't know what strategy they were going at RB, but they were pretty much dicking him hard at RB, with the strategy, I'm not going to lie. So that sort of sucked. Pierre Gasly wasn't happy this weekend. I think Ocon and Gasly both probably want to leave. If anything, I think Gasly will try and look for somewhere. I don't know. One of them might go. I personally think that Ocon could go to Mercedes and then opens the door for either Jack Doohan or Mick Schumacher to go to Alpine. Obviously, Mick being a world endurance driver, championship driver for Alpine, Jack Doohan being their third driver. I think Jack deserves a chance as well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with all that. But yeah, it wasn't the best performance for some drivers. Some drivers had a great performance. And, Max Verstappen, the GOAT, honestly, this season, absolutely killing it, crushing it. There's also talks of points going all the way down to P12. Now, do I agree? I didn't at first, but then I really thought about it. And I don't see why not. We can do one season, see how it goes. And then if it's really shit, then don't worry about it. But, that can help drivers like my boy Magnussen. Maybe Ocon can get a point here and there. So, do I agree? Yeah, it'd be cool. Also, at the end of the Grand Prix, Zhou had his own little parking spot on the main straight. Did I agree with it? No, because someone says giving participation awards for drivers. And listen, it's really cool what happened. So, it sort of reminds me of Mark Webber getting in the points when he drove for Minardi. They let him go on the podium. So, it gave me that sort of vibe. But then I really thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I don't know if he should be on the main straight and really celebrate like that. Go on your car after the race and, after the whole event's done, you can go onto the, main straight. But I don't know if I agreed with the whole, get Zhou to set it up and stuff. And maybe they did it because I know something we don't. Maybe Zhou's not going to be in Formula 1 next year. And I think they'll be very harsh if they get rid of Zhou. I think it's not good for the Chinese market. So I think he deserves to stay. I think I know Bottas is sort of performing, but at the end of the day, man, give a young kid a shot. I think Bottas sort of needs to move on. I know Hulkenberg's really performed, but these older drivers need to sort of move on, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, if someone like Hulkenberg's getting points, I don't see why he won't even continue next year. So stuff like that. But we'll see what happens going into silly season. Next round is the Miami Grand Prix. Straight prediction off the bat, Max Verstappen wins by freaking half a track. So, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, next round is Miami. Guys, this was my little talk about the Chinese Grand Prix. It was a very dull race, very average race. Wasn't nothing too interesting. But yeah, hopefully Miami can be more interesting. I don't think it will, unfortunately. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Guys, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Down below, make sure you click on the link where you can follow my Instagram. That'll be really appreciated. Then I do short videos there too. Post consistently, daily. Do all that. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in my next Formula 1 video. Thank you.